So you get
Okay.
a phone call, they read the document to you. How'd you feel when you got that news?
I really liked what I heard the document say. I think it's pretty clear and convincing to the public that what happened to me that day should have never happened. I'm glad that this is finally over, but it's really just begun. You know, what happened to me cannot ever happen to another American again. And it was kind of a bittersweet moment to me, you know, to accept this pardon, because, you know, a year ago when I filed this appeal, I actually looked forward to my day in court with a jury trial. But as everything has played out over the last 2 years and watched, you know, the justice system be questionably, you know, two-tiered, you know, the justice system being politicized, it just was apparent to me that unfortunately in today's America, getting a fair and free trial is next to impossible, especially if your case has played out in the major media and it's political. So again, you know, I'm really thankful for the off-ramp, you know, but the lesson to be learned out of all of this is I fought hard for 2 years, and basically I had to accept a pardon and an off-ramp because of the condition of our justice system. And that should scare every American out there.
You never thought you were going to get a fair shake from the justice system in Loudoun County, did you?
You know, I did at first. I really did. You know, when we went into that first court date with Buddha and my original attorney, yeah, I thought that the right thing would happen. But the problem is that the evidence was never looked at correctly. It was looked at as what, you know, Scott was tussling or fighting with the police. That's not what the evidence was. The evidence was, did he commit disorderly conduct? And you can read the law statutes in Virginia, and it clearly does not show that that was disorderly conduct. And that's the problem with where Buddha pushed this, is she didn't look at it the way she should have. And she wanted to make an example out of me and please, you know, her operatives and scare the moms and dads of Loudoun County not to stand up.
Speaking of moms and dads in Loudoun County, but all over America, what advice would you give to them? Because there's moms and dads, parents watching right now who are afraid to speak out because of repercussions that they saw with you. What would you tell them?
I would tell them that they have to speak out because our children, you know, depend on it. If we don't speak out, this will continue, and it will continue to get worse. But what I will say is that you have to stick to the truth and the facts. And that's what we've done all along, is we've stuck to the truth and the facts. And that's what's allowed us to win this and stay in the fight and win it.
If you went back to that night you were at the Loudoun County Public School Board meeting, would you do anything differently?
Not one thing. I would do it all over again. I'll protect my family from any threat like that, anytime, any place. But the one thing that needs to really be known is, you know, I didn't do anything violent. I didn't violently threaten her. Having your hand clenched at your side is well within your rights. Calling somebody, you know, a word that's not so nice is also, you know, within your constitutional rights. And if you review the video, I never fought with the police. I never hit them. I never kicked them. All I did was resisted. And that was me standing up for my rights.
You became the face of parents fighting for their kids across the country. Are you okay with that? Even now, are you okay with that? Or did you never want to be that person?
No, I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be that person because I knew how ugly it is. And actually, I found out it was even uglier than I could have ever imagined. I'm tired. And it's real scary because it doesn't seem like there's a strong force, you know. It seems like, you know, it's a handful of people in each state, you know, or each school district or whatever, you know, they're trying to fight against this, you know, this indoctrination of our children, but it's just not enough. And I want it to be more, but, you know, I'm just one person. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I need to be a husband and a dad before, you know, the torchbearer of the United States. So, you know, moving forward, you know, when I'm called, you know, for action, and it's for a good reason, and there's truth behind it, I'll always be there.
What do you say to all the people who supported you and your family, your daughter, your wife, your entire family throughout all of this? The people who were really there for you.
Wow. That's a really great question, because it actually showed me, you know, it thinned the flock, but then it also, the flock refilled with new people. You know, I've become much more spiritual through this. Quite frankly, most of the people who came to our aid seem to be Christian people. And we're just so thankful. We couldn't have done this on our own. But, you know, we built a good team. But in order to build a good team, you know, you had to have a good message, and you had to have the truth. And unfortunately, this truth was ugly. This wasn't like a happy story to be part of. So, you know, we thank everyone, but we also look forward to putting this behind us.
Is your job done in Loudoun County now, or there's more? Or the story continues, possibly?
My job will continue on through the election this November. I don't support public school in this capacity. We would like to put our weight into school choice. As long as the school unions are in control, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Parents, moms and dads and parents and grandmas and grandpas, we have exposed why you need to pull your kids out of public school at this time. And that's our message, and, you know, we're sticking to it.
What would you say to Governor Younkin about what he has done for you and your family?
You know, I really appreciate, you know, what he's done, because when he campaigned, you know, he made it very clear that if he was elected, you know, that he would, you know, do what he could, you know, to get to the bottom of what happened to not just my family, but everything that was going on in Loudoun County. And he did that. It was proclamation number 4, I believe, you know, on the day he was sworn in. You know, he, you know, asked Jason Mires, you know, to look into this and start a special grand jury investigation. And Jason sent a hell of a team, and they did their very best. And for that, I'm very thankful, because without that, you know, a lot of the truth wouldn't have been known, or at least it would have been, it wouldn't have been factual, at least. And that's what I feel the special grand jury did, is it put a stamp of factual stuff to that report. You know, his Parents Matter campaign and his model policies, they look pretty good. You know, I hope that the school systems adhere to them, but there's a lot of fight left, you know, so I asked him to continue on forward with everything he said he's going to do, but it's not over yet. And I hope his team and parents across Virginia unite and get this done.
You know, some people would say you were in constant contact with the Attorney General's office, with the governor's office, about everything, always talking, open door. Was that true? Did you talk to the governor all the time for the last 2 years about this?
No. I've never spoken to the governor personally, ever. One time in a restaurant, you know, I spoke out through the crowd to him for a minute. But other than that, there's been zero contact. And as far as, with the AG, that's not true either. They had special people involved, that had different jobs. And, of course, we had a line of communication through them, but we were involved, in testifying in the special grand jury.
Is this the America, after this 2-year fight and this ordeal, is this the America that you want to leave your daughter?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the story goes on. Our country has lost its way, and I'm really worried about that. And that's kind of how I feel right now is whether we stay here living in Loudoun or move, wherever I go, it's really about the big government. And that's really scary right now.
And one last question. Are there people in Loudoun County, parents, do you think, that are afraid to speak out like you? Who are afraid to show up at meetings and voice their opinions and fight for their children because they think what happened to you is going to happen to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could almost make a factual case out of that because, if you look at the June 22nd, 2021 school board meeting, there was 500 people there. And then it slowly dwindled, to less than a dozen, parents, at least on the conservative side. It seems like, on the other side, it seems like they've stayed real strong and loud. We've got the Loudoun Love Warriors, attacking. But I think their plan actually somewhat worked, unfortunately, because you can see that, yes, nobody's really speaking out. I mean, look at the Board of Supervisors meeting last night. Nobody showed up. Nobody's showing up. Why is that? I think it's a lot of things. I think they're scared. I think that a lot of people in this area work for the government and they have security clearances and they can't lose their jobs. And I find that to be terrible too. One of the things that allowed me to fight this fight and win is because I'm owned by nobody. I'm self-made. My wife and I own a plumbing company. We advertise, we do a good job. I owe nobody anything, so I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about anything. But yes, unfortunately, it did cost me a lot in business revenue, So you got to decide what's worth fighting for. For me, I'll fight for my child. I'm not going to worry about what my neighbor thinks, what my job thinks, or what my customers that call my company think. I'm going to say what's right and stand behind it, defend my family.
Thanks for the interview, Scott.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.